The Great Wall of China was finished at its northernmost location. The construction work moved up from the southeast and southwest and joined at this point. The system of building in sections was also followed on a small scale within the two great armies of workers, the Eastern and the Western. This is how Franz Kafka began one of the many tales written during his lifetime. Franz Kafka was born in Prague at the time of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, in the present-day Czech Republic, on July 3, 1883. He grew up under the influence of Jewish, Czech, and German cultures. His childhood and adolescence were marked by the demurring figure of his father, for whom only material success was important. From 1901 to 1906, he studied law at the University of Prague, where he met his great friend Max Brod, his late biographer. After completing the course, he started working in an insurance company as an inspector for occupational accidents. Despite his professional competence, he was always dissatisfied as he could not dedicate himself fully to literary activities as he wished. The dissatisfaction he had on his job, the relationship with his father, the discrimination due to his Jewish ancestry, led to his social anxiety, depression, and also, in a way, to the ideas present in his book. Those ideas seem to touch the individual struggle against an indifferent and incomprehensible society or system. Kafka died of tuberculosis in 1924, almost as an unknown person. Shortly after his death, many unseen works were published, which led him to becoming a very well-known writer. Among the posthumous publications is The Great Wall of China, which was printed for the first time in 1930. It's a minor tale when compared to the remaining of the writer's portfolio. However, it's a story that deserves to be read. The tale takes place in 15th century China, when the Great Wall was being erected. It is narrated by a craft worker who took part on the massive project. At first glance, the story is very superficial. The emperor in Beijing demands the construction of a gigantic wall in order to separate China from its enemies outside the border. As a result, a crafts worker gives some insights into the construction processes in the countryside. Apart from the obvious, the story has much more to offer. In fact, it's a brilliant work of art that addresses several important themes. Early in the book, human ambition is the theme of reflection. Those employed as supervisors were truly worthy. Masons, who, with the first stone they sank, felt themselves a part of the wall. They desired to perform their work thoroughly, and were impatient to see the wall finished in its complete perfection. It was a great achievement, and everyone had really high expectations of the wall. They were also ambitious, comparing the Great Wall to one of the great wonders of the ancient world, the Tower of Babel. For he maintained that the Great Wall alone would provide for the first time in the history of humanity a secure foundation for a new Tower of Babel. First the wall, therefore, and then the tower. This comparison elevates the wall to one of the highest pedestals of humanity's achievements, equating it with a structure that once aimed to bridge the gap between humanity and the heavens. The Tower of Babel was an ambitious project that ultimately infuriated God, who then scattered humanity by splitting their common language, preventing them from understanding one another. By invoking this comparison, Kafka suggests that the Great Wall, like the Tower of Babel, is a project driven by ambition, fraud, with an inherent limitations and destined for incompleteness. Secondly, we have power. The emperor's authority is central in the story, symbolizing an ultimate, almost divine source of power. However, this power is also distant and abstract, with the emperor's influence being felt more as an idea, as people in the countryside don't even know who the emperor is or even if he's alive. We think only about the emperor, but not about the present one. We would, if we knew who he was or knew anything definite about him. It is almost impossible to discover anything. One hears many things true, but can gather nothing definite. The empire is immortal, but the emperor himself totters and falls. Whole dynasties sink in the end. Of the struggles and suffering, the people will never know. The construction of the Great Wall was ordered by the emperor, yet his direct involvement or understanding of the project is questionable, reflecting the disconnect between centralized power and the people. No matter whether the emperor is informed about the detail or not, he cannot pay any attention to it. His intellect embraces the whole universe. It cannot be specially concerned with this one little part of it. With that, the existence of such a wall had no relevance, as no one really knew for whom it was protecting the Chinese from, neither who ordered it to be built. Still, people discouraged themselves from meditating on those ideas. Not because it was a bad thing, but because no one really knew the truth. Try with all your might to comprehend the decrees of the High Command, but only up to a certain point. Then avoid further meditation. A very wise maxim, which moreover was elaborated in a parable that was later often quoted. Avoid further meditation, but not because it might be harmful. It is not all certain that it would be harmful. Analyzing the themes in Kafka's story reveals its fundamental critique of the human endeavor. The construction of the Great Wall, directed by a distant and abstract government, highlights the futility and ambiguity of such grand projects. The story exposes how the wall, ordered without a clear purpose or practical need, remains incomplete and ineffective. As Kafka illustrates, large sections of the wall were never built, leaving many areas exposed to vulnerable, thus questioning the efficacy of the project itself. But the building of the wall was also so planned that it was completed in sections, and each section was self-contained and separated from the others by wide tracts of country. Thus, the wall is broken in many places, and for long distances there is no wall at all. Despite the monumental effort, the pride of those involved was not matched by a true understanding of the wall's purpose. Their accomplishment, driven by the ambition to create a new Tower of Babel, ultimately proved to be futile. This blind pursuit of grandeur without a clear purpose mirrors the existential doubts we encounter in our own lives. Kafka leaves us with a profound reflection on the enigmatic nature of human endeavor. Our greatest achievements often reveal more about our limitations and uncertainties than about our success. This, I believe, is the core message of Kafka's tale.